Okay, it's Mark, and we're going to start a live show. And so tonight, let me get rid of the screen. There we go. So I'm going to work on some designs tonight for my latest film, and it's a clay on glass film. And let me see if I can show you guys a picture. Let's see here, view, large icons. Okay, what is this? So, hopefully this will work. So I've been working on it for maybe a couple of weeks, and I've got a lot of sets and things done. This is technically a set. This is a two-dimensional, 2/3-dimensional set, and so it's made from just clay, and I got a piece of acrylic plexiglass behind it, and so you're not going to see this, this plastic, blue plastic and stuff. It's going to be glass that's clear. And I have a separate element that is behind it, or will be behind it, and it will be lit nicely and everything. This is just from my cell phone, so it's really, horrible looking. Oops. So let me see if I can. So I've done some designs. This was a crow, and here's a shriveled up apple here on a tree, and there's a worm in there. And let's see if. Did I even take a picture of that? Yeah, I thought I did. Maybe it's not in here. But anyways, so we got castles and houses and stuff like that. And so I've already made this set, which again, I guess I don't have any pictures of it, unfortunately. And here's another one where you can see. And I did actually alter this slightly. Here's a set where. I'm gonna have three little kids and a lady in here, and so I changed this. This is like a rug, it's not supposed to stick out, and like I said, it's just like a really horrible picture from my cell phone, but you can see kind of how it looks. Everything is flat, you know, completely flat. There's nothing, there's no real walls or anything. You know, it's just rolled out clay, which is done using a pasta roller machine. And so basically what I did is, since this is plexiglass and behind there I can put my design and actually lay the clay over the design itself and see it through the plexiglass, and cut all of this clay with a tool so it, you know, looks like my designs. And what I've done, some of the things that I've done are, and you can see it I think in this one here in the house picture, is I took a piece of foam board, white foam board, and I put it in my setup. I have a special setup that I made with layers of glass and my camera mounted on top pointing down. And so what I did is I took this this piece of foam board and I put on here dots to show where the camera, what the maximum viewing angle is for different layers on the glass. So now that I need to have a set that goes past this, no, it's not, it's kind of at an angle here, but you can see these lines, and so I had to make sure I fill this entire piece with my background. Otherwise, the camera will see beyond the edges, you know. So, so for the closer objects, the camera only sees within this field of view, and then for the mid-level it's this, and then for the background is that. So what I'm doing is I'm using Krita, which is a free paint program which we talked about in the past, I guess, a few times. And so the idea is I've got these different characters, and what I'll do is when I'm done with all these I'll print them out. And so I've got just a neutral gray layer, and then I paint over that on a separate layer the colors, and a separate layer for just the lines. And I'm not going for like really super accuracy, or I'm not trying to go for like super detailed here. I'm just kind of getting a really close approximation of what I want, and then when I get in you know, my hands in the clay is when I will you know, make the details and stuff. So like with this character here, I'm probably gonna, I'm almost done coloring him in. Now the film itself revolves around a couple of trees, and one is an apple tree that oh, I guess I can't paint on this side, can I? I'll have to paint on my other monitor. Alright, let me see if I can switch monitors here for you guys. So, where's my other monitor? I might need to add it. Let me add it. Add monitor capture. So it should be monitor 1. You see if this works. There we go. So the chat is no longer there. So let me see if I can change that as well. Might not be able to though. Or actually, I think I can. Let me change that. I can't. That's too bad. Alright. So monitor 2 and then monitor capture. Oh, I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I need to move the chat up. That's what it is, I think. Let me just make sure. Alright. So, why aren't you working? Order, move up. Order, move up. And order. There we go. Okay. Now we got our chat back, and I can actually use my Wacom tablet here to draw. That's helpful. Okay. Then I can also see your chats as well on my other monitor. So let me make this bigger. Okay, there we go. All right, so now what do I need to do? So I need to color in his shirt. I'm not sure what color yet. Also, I'm just gonna shade his golden apple crown and his chain and all this stuff. Just gonna shade it in a little bit. Let's see if I can do that. So I don't know if you guys have used Krita before, but it's actually pretty good, you know, for being free. It works great. I like the way that the brushes work, and the colors and stuff are, you know, pretty much just like Photoshop, and it's fast and responsive. So I don't know what you guys use out there for your graphics programs, or if you just, maybe some of you guys like to use something like, you know, Windows Paint or something. You know, there's still people that use that out there. I mean, it's kind of funny, but. So what color to make his shirt? That's the question. Not really sure. I have to give it some thought there. So welcome to the show, Adamatost. Yes. So we're just working on some character designs, and this is going to be the king character in my film project. I've been working on for a little while. So I think a dark color like this would be good for his shirt, and it would complement his golden apple necklace or chain, whatever, and pendant. So the cool part about making characters like this is that when you animate them, there's no problem with gravity pulling your puppets to the floor when you're animating, because everything's laying flat on glass, so they could jump and fly around and stuff. And the other cool part is that once I sculpt this guy, I'm going to make a silicone mold of his face. And when I do that, I can make multiple copies of his face. And then I can give him a lot of squash and stretch and stuff like that. That you can't really do with most puppets, you know, easily. You can, but it's a lot more work to do. And so pretty much all the rules that it would apply to something like a Disney film that's drawn by hand would apply to this kind of, you know, 2D/3D clay animation. So you have a lot more freedom and flexibility, and you can really give a lot more emotion in the faces of your characters, because you can stretch them out and make them as wide as you want. It's really cool. So the last time I did this was a long time ago. So I guess it's been probably, you know, over 10-15 years since I did a project like this, and I really enjoyed it. I worked for Gentleman Films making 2D clay animation characters for them. And they, let's see here, a little bit darker. And Mike Rosinski taught me a lot about how to do it, and how you can sort of pre-animate everything on paper. You know, you can pre-animate stuff. You know, and you can do that probably in this program if I wanted to. I could probably pre-animate this. But really what I want to do is I just want to, you know, use free programs and things that are cheap like this to the maximum, because I don't want to spend a lot of cash making this film. I really don't have any money to spend, you know. So I've got a lot of clay, and I've got, you know, Krita, and zoom in here. I've got, you know, some time in between jobs right now. So for me, I'm just kind of trying to take advantage of all that stuff. His eyes black. So I was thinking when I animate them, this king is going to be really angry. He's going to be a really mad dude. So I want to, work on animating him really extreme, like, give him lots of expression in his eyes and stuff. And the only way to really do that is to use molds. And at Gentleman Films, what we did is we relied a lot on dental alginate as the material. And we used dental alginate to make the initial molds. But dental alginate doesn't really last that long, so I'm probably going to use silicone. If I have any extra silicone from other projects that I'm working on for my clients, like I have one client that I got to make a mold for, and I'll probably have a little bit too much silicone, so I'll probably use whatever little that is left in the container to make a mold of this guy's face, which won't take a lot of silicone at all, probably like an ounce, of silicone. And let's see, might want to go even darker with this belt here. Nope, I'm done with the pirates for now. I think just the fact that the amount of space that it takes up to make those large projects, even though it wasn't even really that large, I can't really do what I want to do with that, with the space that I have. I mean, having large pirate ship sets and stuff, it just takes up too much space. And so probably not going to work on that for a while. Let's see here. I don't want him to look too much like Santa Claus here, so he's a king, but I think that's okay. So let me go with some darker color here. Something like that. So there he is. Alright, so where's my other layer here? Make a new layer. I wonder if I can duplicate that. Duplicate there, mask. See, with Photoshop, I know how to move stuff around, and on here, I really don't know how to do that. Let's see, just tools. Let's see. Yeah, it's Krita. Krita is the free graphics program that we've talked about. There we go. So I'll have to remember this so I can move layers around like that. So let me erase all of this in this new layer. I'm gonna move this over for you guys so you can see. Here we go. Let's do this. And I'm going to duplicate that as well. Duplicate layer. And then move it. Alright, so using Krita, you could pre-animate stuff, or kind of move stuff around, and let's see here. So if I want to make different facial expressions, all I need to do is just kind of go in there and do this. So let me select my brush. Here we go. Oops. Put it on black. So this is kind of the process that I use, and you know, anybody out there who has the time can do it themselves this way. Well, some of these characters don't have legs. No legs for them. And they're all technically like living emojis, so they're not gonna have you know, features that are normal, because emojis aren't normal anyway. That's also going to help me to animate stuff a little bit faster. So I think I'll give him some teeth like this. So what I'll do after I, you know, make all these different facial expressions is I'll print them out. And what I need to do is I need to print it out the proper size for my setup with my camera and my clay on glass rig. So what I mean to say is that when I put this on, put the background down, which is this. So this is going to be the background where he's going to stand. I had to make sure that the scale that he's at is not too big or not too small. So what I'll do is I'll print out this king design here, and when I do that, I'll make sure that I print it out maybe in 2 or 3 different scales, and then I'll put it under the camera, because objects that are closer to your camera need to be a little bit smaller, because if you make them, if I were to print it out, you know, the proper size where it would be this tall on the set, then it'd be closer to the camera. It would actually be even taller, you know, and I want to make sure I fit all of him inside this, you know, particular shot. So, you know, I don't really know how big I'm going to sculpt him yet, so I don't want to just, you know, sculpt him out or anything. But when I do, I'll probably tape these expressions to the back of a piece of plexiglass, and I'll put the clay right on top of it, and I'll make the mold of the first face, and it would be, you know, almost flat, pretty much flat. Let's do this. Oop, I get you. There we go. And then I can adjust everything, you know, for the second face. And because I'm using a mold, these details like the eyeballs will line up, you know, between facial expression changes. Oop, let me check my 3D printer real quick. Okay. So Beard is saying that Krita has an animation timeline that can be useful for animatics and stuff. Yeah, yep, I've heard about that. I've never tried it though. It seems like it's probably not too hard though. Let's see. So I might give him some brows like this to make him look even madder when he's talking. Something like this. This wouldn't really be like a nostril, but I might just color that in. Something like that. Select the other layer. Which one is it? This one. There we go. So I might go for the stretched out version of his mouth here. And also with this, the face will be on a layer above the body. So when I animate him, I don't have to worry about having to move all of this stuff around or anything. His whole face can cover up his body, and I can stretch it out really far. And I think that would be pretty nice. So I'm gonna try and make this slightly narrower where his face is stretching out. Maybe something like this. Give him some kooky teeth. And I'm not really worried about his lower teeth lining up or anything like that, just as long as they look kind of cool. So let's see. Ah, okay. So Beard is saying if your version of Krita is new enough, I think it's just a matter of showing the timeline and animation panels under the settings Dockers part of the top menu. And it says it works well for 2D animation, especially with the right custom hotkeys. That's cool. So it's in the what now? So it's in the settings Dockers. Ah, okay. Yeah, I see animation right there. I may need to play around with that. It would be kind of fun to pre-animate these in here just to see how it looks, you know? I could really tweak stuff before I sculpt it. Go like that, maybe. Not really sure what I'm gonna do with his face there. But I think the point of the face that I'll line up between an animation, the 2 points will be the eyeballs, I think, that I'll line up in the camera. And I'm thinking I might, I don't know if I'll use black clay or if I'll make these as depressions in the clay. And then once I do that, I will probably, I could use paint, I guess. Just kind of paint them in, see what it'll look like. So I'm probably going to also use, I don't know if I'll use straight orange clay or what for this, for his face and everything. So I have my 3D printer printing out a Bendy's armature kit. I've been selling a bunch of them for Christmas, and I'm trying to keep up. And I'm printing out a red one, one of the skulls. And unfortunately, my filament is crossed over on my on the spool, so I had to keep checking to make sure that it's not getting bound up. It's about, I guess, further than halfway through, but I had to keep looking at it to make sure that like the filament isn't getting locked up and the printer having any issues. It's Go black here. I don't know if any of you guys have a 3D printer, but they're fun. You can do a lot with them, and I think for stop motion purposes, if I had one when I was younger, I probably would have printed out most of my armatures using a 3D printer. You know, the old way was with, you know, brass tubes and that kind of a thing, which is time consuming compared to 3D printing. And the cool part about 3D printers is if you make armatures, you can share your designs. You can put it on the internet and then have your friends print out the same thing that you've made, which is really cool. Let's see here. Hey, Stamp. Hey, Joy. Stamp Motion Joy. I don't know if I should call you by your real name, but welcome to the show. So we're just working in Krita right now. This is the free graphics program, and I'm just coloring in some designs. This is a king of this little town that relies on apples for everything. So that's like their currencies are apples. Make this bigger here. So they take apples very seriously, which is why he has a staff that's got an apple on the end, and his crown is going to have little apples and a golden apple around his neck. So it's just for kids. It's like a kid's cartoon. Oops. So Thomas, that's cool. So you got a 3D printer? And Stamp says, nice work. Can you, or you can call me Joy, Stamp Motion. I don't mind. Okay. That's good to know. So when I'm doing this, you know, I'm not. This is not really set in stone what I'm doing. I think when I start sculpting this, I'll see how it looks. You know, I might change things in the clay. We'll just have to see. Go with the teeth. Some teeth on him. And some of these expressions, I might make like, you know, a dozen of these or something, because I really want them to be kind of wild. I want this character to come across as a little bit crazy. You know, he's really obsessed with apples to a very high degree. So the point of it is going to be like, you know, he's so obsessed with apples that he doesn't care about anybody or anything. You know, doesn't matter like who you are. Apples are, if you mess with his apples, it's hell to pay. It's here. So I'll probably, you know, I'm using just colors to kind of think about what the shapes might look like. Where I'll have high points and low points in the clay. So the darker shadowy areas will be kind of like this. Something like that, I guess. So it's kind of fun to do. Well, so Randy's asking they gotta spend their Apple money before it goes bad. Well, they're just very protective of apples, and the point of the film is that they're so protective of apples that they think it's okay to just like not care about anybody else on the outside from their village, you know. And then they find out, like the moral of the story is going to be that they find out that the person that wants their apples is, you know, just exactly like them. There's no difference, and they'll all have regrets, you know, for what they do in the film. So anyway, go with this, and oop, I don't like that. Let's go back. Control Z. Let's see here. There. Oop. Adjust my printer here. Yeah, it takes about 5 hours to print out something about, I guess my skulls are maybe 2.5, 3 inches tall or so. Yeah, it takes a long time, but you can change the settings and you can do it faster, but the quality kind of goes down. And but there's a lot of different ways to approach 3D printing. If you don't mind the bad quality, you can do it, you know, in half the time, but it's gonna have a lot of imperfections. That was pretty good. Okay, let's go down here. Okay. So there we go. Let them eat apple cake. So Joy is saying he's at 161 subscribers and he gained about 10 in the past month, and he has a goal of 200 by the end of the year. Well, the end of the year is pretty not too far away. So I don't know how you plan to do that, but if you need me to like link to any of your films or anything, just, you know, let me know. Like I could maybe on Facebook or something. Just send me a link if you want me to post anything. If it helps. Let's see, and get some eyeballs. Get some eyeballs, black it in here. I don't know. Let's see, so a couple of expressions. Maybe just quickly painting his crown just to kind of make it look neat. So, let's see, Joy says he's planning to release 2 films this month. That's neat. And Beard is saying you can get down to 42 micron resolution, which would take over 4 times the amount to print. Well, you know, that's, prints, there's a lot of different, I mean, actually there are things you can do to print up things faster. Let me see here. like the infill speed and also the amount of the percent of infill that you use, which I forget if I'm using like 25% infill on my 3D prints. I think it's 25%. But if you went with something like 15%, it wouldn't take, it would take a lot less time. And there are different speeds, you can change the speed of how fast your exterior layer is and your inner layers are. There's a lot of settings, at least with Cura. I'm using the older version of it because it works pretty good for me, but there's just... I think one guy that I know, his name is Henry, and he's printing PLA on a printer. And PLA, and I think, what was the other one? PTGE, or whatever it's called. I always forget what it is, but there's different plastics out there, and I think that there's different speeds that you can print those things at. Like the plastic kind of determines a lot. Like if you do it really fast, sometimes you can get warping. If you do it too slow, that usually does. That's actually not such a bad thing, but sometimes if it's too slow, you can actually ruin a print because the heat can disturb what you've already printed a little bit. And there's like fan speeds for your cooling fan, and if it's too slow of a speed, then your plastic melts, and if it's too fast, the layers don't stick together. It's really a crazy thing, 3D printing. Alright, so kind of wondering if I should give him some kind of like an upper lip thing going on here, or what should I do with his lips? Let's see. So I think there's going to be some dimensionality to this here. Just a little bit. That'll look better. This. There we go. Alright, so it's not too bad. Maybe an ooh shape, kind of. Let me duplicate one of these layers here. Where is it? This one. Duplicate layer. There we go. And Ron asked about, does 3D printing take into account a subsurface modifier? Not that I know of. Well, actually, no, it does. What am I saying? Yeah, the very exterior layer can be, you can adjust like the speed. Also, what is it? I guess there's like, if you make a cube, there's like a top layer, so you can add a number of layers to your surface as well. And the reason for that is because like if you have a lot of infill, you don't really need a lot of layers on your external design. Let's erase this. The more infill, the more steady, the stable it is, or sturdy. But the less infill you use, the more layers you need on your external. Let's go with this. Yeah, but you can modify pretty much everything, just about everything. Trying to think, where would I have his the ooze shape at here? How did I make that look? Maybe like that. Oops. Like this. Shape. This might work. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of different programs out there for printing stuff. I mean, and they all do have different settings. I mean, I'm not really sure. Simplify 3D. I've never. Trying to think if I've ever used it. I guess I haven't. I believe that's a paid-for program, and I'm just using Cura. It also depends on your printer. Like if you get a Form Labs printer, those things can really print some awesome detail. But one of the problems that someone posted on a 3D printing forum, if you get the Form Labs printers and there's any kind of like dust that covers the lasers that, or not the lasers, is it a laser or a, what do you call it? A projector. There's like projection and there's like lasers, and sometimes what will happen is there'll be like dust or a cobweb in there, and every time your laser shoots through this cobweb or dust or anything, it will spread the laser beam out. And when you get these expensive resins, you put it in your printer. I don't like that. And as it spreads out, it'll do what's called oatmealing, which is to harden your resin all over the place wherever it spreads out, and you don't get any kind of good prints that way. So like when something goes wrong with those really expensive printers, the problem itself is exasperated because the price of the resins are so expensive, you know. So you really have to have a lot of money to to use one of those printers. But the results when they do work are amazing, and all the surface textures, all of that will be really perfect in so many ways, compared to, you know, like what I'm using, which is just a you know, PLA. Where's that layer here? This one. Okay. Not really sure if I like this ooh shape. I don't know if I should like put in some teeth in his mouth. Maybe the lower teeth would be kind of good. Yeah, Shapeways is really good because you don't have to. You can't. You can't make a mistake. All the mistakes are on them if there are already mistakes. So let's see here. What am I gonna do with this? All right. Oop. Let's go back with the teeth color. It's kind of gonna screw around with the teeth a little bit. No, I know what I'm gonna do. Where's the layer? This one. Oops, too big. Like that. And then some teeth here. I think I want to make sure his teeth are seen in here. Where's the other layer here? Okay, I can't do it that way. Yeah, he won't be very menacing if you don't see his teeth. So just the lower teeth, maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of 3D printers out there that are just really awesome, and there's printers that can print out. Let's see, what was that? Oh, that was that layer. Okay. I'm screwing up. Yeah, printers that can make things out of steel, titanium. And like for stop motion purposes, I think that armatures may one day, be 3D printed once the technology gets really good. But I don't think they'll ever be able to print out a ball, a spherical ball, without having the problem where 3D printers had this like layers of upon layer of melted plastic or steel or whatever. So I don't think that would work very well. But I think for like sandwich plates and stuff like that, we could probably print those out pretty soon, if not already. Let's see. So, there we go. I think having a lip like this is pretty good. Yeah, for the ooh, I'll probably make it just more narrow. I think this will be the one that I sculpt, and then I'll probably make a mold and then just narrow this. You know, that way it's um, more more easy. You know, lined up with the animation between face changes. Like this one here will probably be like the and the ah. I'll probably make a mold of this and then just modify it, you know. So it'll be like a, and like this one here, it could be like the ah, the the ah, you know. So I can just modify, you know, a couple of different castings of that one. So this is like, these are like in betweens. Let's see here. The black. Where are we at? This one. Ah. There we go. Nope. Yeah, these will all have subtle changes to them so that the animation works. And I don't know if I'm going to want to go with anything more extreme than that. I mean, I could, like the ooh could be even out to like here. Like I could stretch his lips out, you know, make it really funny. Alright, so let me paint his crown. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to paint his crown here. And that's already been an hour, so we'll probably wrap up the show. But this is what I'm doing, so I just want to share it with you guys, and you can see kind of the process, and, you know, I'm sure there's people that could, you know, there's a lot of people that can draw a lot better than I can, but this is my skill level, and I'm not really too worried about how well these characters look in this film. One of the things about this film that I like, you know, because with the Zombie Pirate Tales film that I did, you know, I spent so much time on like details and making things perfect, and with this one I'm just kind of more concerned, you know, or focused on going for the story, you know, the story of it, and just making it, and not really worrying so much about all the fine details. Not that I want to rush through it or anything, but I just don't want to get caught up in making things perfect. You know, doesn't really help if you do that when you're doing stuff alone. Like if you're doing it for a production company or something, and they want stuff to be exact and all, of course you want to do that. Like when I work for my clients, I make sure that I really am like a, you know, perfectionist. But for my own project, I know that the story is going to be what counts most. So anyway, that was pretty good, I think. Some little highlights. That doesn't look too good. Just a little bit. Yeah. Alright, let me just make a little dark area for his lip. Accent that just a bit. Around the eyes a bit. Alright, so there it is. So we got some facial expressions and a rough, you know, design of our character. I appreciate you guys stopping in. I couldn't really read your comments while I'm working on here, so I apologize if I didn't get to your comments. But hope you guys had fun, and I guess I'll see you all next week. All right, see you all later.